So when we wanted to expand to United States, we actually went to data marketing agency. We thought that we will pay money and then they will give all the databases and we will all grow their clients.
Yeah.
We spent about $30,000 in 6 months with 0 leads, right?
Wow.
And that's where it just was an awestruck moment that someone actually had cheated us. I remember one of the client calling me in Washington, DC and said, Suresh, do not charge me this money next time. I said, did I charge you a lot? And he said, no. The work that you did in terms of workshop, if we get 1% improvement in productivity, we will make millions of dollars. So charge me more. But it's also important to understand you cannot do everything on your own.
Yes.
You need partners, you need collaborators, and that's the only way that we can grow. So just come over and build your network, and your network is your network, right?
Welcome to the Biz Growth Network Spotlight. And here we are with Suresh GP. So let's get started straight into it. What inspired you, Suresh, to start this business and how did you get to where you are today?
Thanks, Audrey, for having me. I started Taub Solutions along with my wife in 2014. Taub stands for Taking You Beyond.
Love it.
The focus of Taub was to take the customers where they are in their journey to envision business outcomes. And one of the things we always get frustrated is about just doing the routine things and getting a paycheck and doing it. I thought we should give job opportunities for people, but also change lives of professionals. So we started with IT professionals to begin with,
Yes.
but then we now started to do coaching, consulting, advisory, and helping business owners really make their first million. So it's been a journey so far. We started off in 2014, 2016 in Singapore, 2018 in US. And I'm very happy to be in Melbourne. Now we have our 4th entity and it's been a roller coaster ride so far.
Love it. And I'm sure it was full of a joyride and challenges as well.
Well, it is always a ride, but nothing comes out without having those whole
Yes,
ups and
indeed,
downs. But it also teaches you a lot of lessons.
Of
and,
course.
And it's so much refreshing because you are playing in a different territory altogether. Yes. It's like playing a different wicket.
And 4 countries is a lot.
And then you learn from all those things soaking
Yes.
in. But it's also
Love
been
it.
that the whole community has been very supportive in the way they have actually given us an opportunity to prove our worth, because you need to get that first step to someone giving you an opportunity to prove yourself. And
Love it.
Yeah, it's been a great journey so far.
And making a difference, changing lives. That's beautiful. Totally aligned with that.
Yeah, so one of the problems with that element is that you can actually make multi-millions. You feel good about it, we grade to that level of pinnacle, and then you feel something shallow within.
Yes.
And then you realize that there is something to give back and make a difference. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about helping business coaching and consulting to help small, medium-sized business owners make their first million. And that's so important.
So wonderful. So who is your ideal client? When you say small and medium-sized businesses, who would be your ideal client who you work with?
Typically, people who are earning about total revenue of $250,000 and above, where they actually have moved away from the struggle phase to a stability phase,
Yeah.
that's the time that we want to help them to grow from where they are to $1 million, which requires systems, process, making sure that you have a good business plan, but it's also having this whole orchestration piece of people, process, products, and ensuring automation is done so that they can free up your time and make it really work. One area that I always believe that as business owners, you need to have your time, your freedom, and energy. And
Time, freedom,
you cannot
energy.
do it alone. We have done that in a hard way. We learned our hard lessons. So I just don't
Yes.
want everybody to replicate the same mistakes.
Yes, learn from the mistakes others have made, right?
exactly.
Stand on the shoulders
Yeah.
of the giants. That's beautiful. So what would be the products or services that you offer to this ideal market of yours?
So one of the things that we always talk about from a business owner standpoint is that a lot of business owners work in the business. They don't work on the business. So helping them to understand their ideal client profile.
Correct.
It's not that everybody is your client. Understand your market segment. What's your messaging? And a lot of times business owners have to build their own brand. They are very shy about how they're messaging. But also that some of those systems and process in place. So your CRM systems, people don't even have a CRM system in
Correct,
place.
yes.
They have people writing down their customer names in spreadsheets, and it's not the way you work. And also people have no idea about finances. I ask these people, what is the P&L for the last year? They say, I need to ask my accountant. So if you don't have your numbers in place, it doesn't work. So we educate a lot of business owners to build that business fundamentals for them to understand how to run the business.
Correct.
Ideally, we want them to run the business, but they need a lot of hand-holding and coaching. That's where we spend a lot of time to help them, groom them to become sufficient enough to scale their business. So essentially moving from struggle phase to stability phase to growth phase. So that's what we help.
Struggle, stability, growth.
Yeah.
Love that. SSS.
We are an S family. All of them are S
Oh,
in our
yes.
family. Suresh, Siddharth, Samyukta, and Satya.
So you
that's
focus
the
on
whole
to the
combined
S.
thing.
Love it, love it. So in doing this, creating this impact that you have in 4 countries and the massive drive that you're doing, what has been your biggest challenge and how did you solve it?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things where we were always thinking about global, we always believe think global, act local. So when we wanted to expand to United States, we actually went to a particular data marketing agency. We thought that we will pay money and then they will give all the databases and we will all grow their clients.
Yeah.
We spent about $30,000 in 6 months with 0 leads, right?
wow.
And that's where it just was an awestruck moment that someone actually had cheated us. Either we can give up or we can teach other people how not to do such kind of work, because people think that marketing, digital marketing or brand marketing will change everything. It will not change everything if you don't have clue. And that was a part of it. And $30,000 wiped out. We said, we cannot do this one. I said, well, we have to prove these people that we are much more than what these people are taking us for a ride. And our first deal was with multinational company for $30,000. And I realized that, you should never give up. And that was the biggest lesson, that you really need to go through the grind, focus on your fundamentals, but make sure that you know your stuff, what you're doing it. Don't expect the experts to do it. You should know something about it before you get
That's
in.
such a huge lesson, right? Because many times business owners think there is a magic pill.
Correct.
Like if I just, skip those steps
Correct.
and went ahead. But it's so important to actually take those steps, learn the lessons, make the mistakes and go forward.
Correct.
So what you've just shared is that you can learn from the mistakes of the other people and take help and grow. However, you can't skip the steps.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Love that. So in this journey of challenges and, learning through this, what would you say was your proudest moment that you really want to share?
I think over the last 11 years, we have trained and coached 11,000 people, and our mission is to impact 100,000 people. That's the bigger, grander vision of Taub Solutions. So over the last 11 years, I've been fortunate to be ranked as the top 25 influencers in the service management space for 4 consecutive years. Recently, I was awarded to become the Hall of Fame. So that's a great, proud moment. I also became a top 2021 BRM and had an opportunity to speak in 12 international conferences. And today, one of my proudest achievements is about working in about 18 countries. So the way we do and scale business, I think there is a lot more that we have grown from a humble beginning, from a place in Bangalore, India, to globally running across has been a real honor. And that's can't have been done without my support of my co-founder and COO Satya and the talented team. But it's been a heck of a ride. But it's been a great part of doing this and branding yourself, and going back to that part that it has given me a brand of what Suresh GP is as a thought leader, as a coach or a mentor. I think that's how you can grow your own brand. So that's been one of my proudest achievements.
So wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done. Congratulations on that. What sets, with all these amazing things you've done and, been around the world, 18 countries, that's huge. And I'm sure you have more countries on the cards. So how would you say, what sets you apart, your business apart from the others in the market?
Absolutely. So one of the things about Taub is about experiential learning. Anything that we do, we put people into, let's say, game-based learning. We focus on very pragmatic KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, but also being very focused on getting so much value for the money that they get paid. So I remember one of the client calling me in Washington, D.C. and said, Suresh, do not charge me this money next time. I said, did I charge you a lot? And he said, no. The work that you did in terms of workshop, if we get 1% improvement in productivity, we will make millions of dollars. So charge me more. So when you deliver so much value to business, and you will get a lot of repeat orders. So focusing on giving your 100%, that you should give something which is outstanding and play that infinite game. So we as Taub Solutions, play that infinite game, that we give more value, practically focusing, hand-holding them through the journey and making it a much more fun way of doing it. Because I think a lot of times you sweat out based on deliverables and stuff, but if you don't enjoy the whole process, it doesn't work. And your passion just shows up in the way we conduct ourselves. So I think we've been fortunate to kind of run through that mode of experiential learning, game-based learning, practical, and giving so much value that customers just go wow, and then they start referring, and that's how we've grown. And we work with some of the Fortune 500 companies as well. So we are very grateful for the trust of our customers in what we do as Taub Solutions.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And so with all this amazing stuff you're doing, where do you see Taub Solutions going in the next 5 years?
As I told you that 11,000 people trained and coached is not sufficient in 11 years. We are targeting about 100,000 people, which means that I want to help business owners who are from the struggle phase to the stability phase, stability to growth. So we wanted to focus on the next 1,000 business owners across Australia and the rest of the world who could go in the journey and then say, Taub Solutions made a difference, that we moved on from this phase to another phase. Because at the end of the day, Audrey, that you can make a lot of money, but if you don't make a difference in people's lives, it's not going to be a thing. And I'm just reminded of reading the book of Diary of CEO, and he says that you have only limited time, right? So let's say you're going to be staying for 85 years. You detect how many years you have lived, and the remaining days, there's just about 10,000 days left over. So how can you make an impact? So finally, it's all about value and impact. And if you're able to make a difference to those business owners globally, I think we have done the right thing for the community. And we're so grateful that we have to give back and hope this world is a better place to live in, particularly in this kind of typical global environment. We have to make this a much more enriching and build that economy which is so high, because at the end of the day, these small business owners are actually growing the whole economy. So we need to support them.
Absolutely, because there are teams, there are families being impacted by the small business owners.
Correct.
So that's wonderful. Love to hear your mission and how you're executing it and how the impact you're making. Is there anything else you would like to add for our audience here about Taub, about yourself?
Well, I think, first of all, thank you to BGN, because you're doing a great job in terms of promoting business owners to actually shine big, right? But it's also important to understand you cannot do everything on your own. Yes. You need partners, you need collaborators, and that's the only way that we can grow. So just come over and build your network, and your network is your net worth, right? And that means you need to build your authentic relationships. And ever since I stepped into BGN, I found that level of aura, friendship, and collaboration just coming in large numbers. And I believe that every business owner should be a part of such a big network so that we are able to support each other and grow. And there's a larger pie for everyone.
Absolutely.
We just have to be open and receptive to grab and see how much we can give. And I'm a big fan of BNI as well, like givers gain. So let's give more in terms of value, in terms of education, in terms of suggestions and help. And you will be amazed about how much you will grow as an individual as well as an organization. So I hope that it inspires more business owners to give jobs and create opportunities rather than just looking at, who is going to pay my next paycheck. It's not worth that run, because you can create a massive difference for the community, for the people,
yes,
and make life a better place to live in.
So wonderful. Collaboration over competition. That's what we always talk about at BGN.
Yeah.
And you really live that. And we're excited to see how we can collaborate in the future and make amazing things happen and contribute to your mission and our mission together. Thank you so much, Suresh, for today's spotlight. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, and have a great day.